Welcome all to the special one-off blame game for the spring, summer, promotion, relegation, whatever tournament. I'm going to keep this relatively brief because I'm working on some other stuff this week. Gold Coin United will be the focus of this blame game, and we'll be starting with Santorin. He received a lot of criticism for his play this weekend, and much of it harkened back to his days on TSM when he was invisible during some games. Santorin definitely had some bad games over the course of this weekend, and the most accurate criticism came in Game 5 versus TL when he was completely inactive during the game. He ended that one 0-1-0 with his only death coming right as Team Liquid were ending the game. He also had a couple games where he was abused by Lyra, like Game 2 in the second series versus Envy. Lyra counterganked him top both times early on to snowball the Renekton and take over the game. Here's the thing though, Lyra abuses almost everybody in the LCS. Most people have to play 2 best-of-3s against him over a 9-week season, whereas Santorin had to play 2 best-of-5s against him in a single weekend. His other matchup was against Reignover, who is also a top jungler in the North American region. You put almost anyone else in North America up in best-of-5 series versus these guys, they're gonna come out behind over the course of the entire games. Keeping that in mind, Santorin did decently. He had enough good early games that if the rest of his team was stepping up, they probably would have gotten out of the relegation tournament. Game 1 of the second set versus Envy, his early game pathing steals away some jungle camps and nets him first blood. Off of that, he basically covers all of Lyra's early game plays, trading kills and ganks, stealing away the dragon, and getting the first couple of turrets. In Game 4, his early pressure mid is what actually enables Fenix to start taking over the game. He forces Syndra's summoners and then repeat ganks after to pick up a kill. It felt like Santorin held up well enough versus Lyra that if the other members of Team Gold Coin United were stepping up, then they would have made it out of this tournament. Which leads me to my next topic. Up now is GCU's star player in Fenix. A lot of people were saying that he was one of the standout players over the course of the promotion tournament, but when push came to shove and pressure was at its highest, he didn't have the same level of performances, so a lot of people called him out for choking. This one is a little tough to judge because the necessary level of play out of Fenix in order for Gold Coin United to get out of the tournament was super high. And when you look at the rest of his team, he had a bot lane that was consistently failing, a jungler who did well but was for the most part outclassed by his counterparts in the LCS, and a top laner who did okay but whose fate was mostly tied to the jungler's influence. Fenix also crushed the entire Challenger Series in the beginning of the promotion tournament, so he kind of raised the expectations for himself. Game 2 of the second set versus Envy compared to Game 4 is a great example of Fenix under the weight of being on the weaker team. Both games were Ahri into Syndra, and he feels pressure to not only do well in the somewhat skill-based matchup, but to smash it. He played both games stylistically the same way, but he hit more charms when going aggressive in the 4th game, and as a result becomes a huge threat for his team and can carry that game. Fenix is a mechanical beast and plays 1v1 matchups extremely well. His problem comes from the attention that he pulls from his aggressive playstyle. A lot of the best mid laners in the world thrive at absorbing that extra attention while keeping their pressure up, whereas Fenix tries to actively attack that attention. That means that sometimes he makes huge game-changing plays and other times he frankly looks like an idiot. A great example of this is Game 5 versus Envy when he flashes in aggressively to try and trade with Syndra. Now if he flashes out, he may not have lived, but he would have at least forced the opponents to flash after him to secure the kill. Instead, he basically serves him up for them to kill him. This haunts him later on in the game when he's still getting the better out of Ninja in a losing matchup, but is no longer equal summoners to try and chase for a kill here. Later on, he dies to a roaming Hakuho and gives up another kill. Taking everything here into consideration, I'd still have to say the blame for Fenix is correct. He was put under a ton of pressure and had to hard carry for his team, and while that might not necessarily be fair, he still was not up to the task. The High Five comment of the week is brought to you by my patrons Diss Track, Cat Campbell, and Derpy Fox, and it goes to Steve Liquid112, our hands. Now, I know this was not posted on Reddit by him, but it's just too fucking hilarious. This is the embodiment of someone who is under a ton of stress and managed to succeed. That's it for this week's episode of the Blame Game. Playoffs are starting this weekend, and I'll be doing Blame Games for those, PLT, and Beyond the Analyst desk, so you'll be seeing me around plenty. Like I said, I'm working on some other stuff this week, so make sure to follow my Twitter, TheMarkZ, for any updates on when the bonus, serious, and troll videos come out.